I'm about to tell you a true story. A story of the greatest open sea naval disaster in United States history. I call this story Sleep Well, You Men of Indy's Crew. A new day sprung 1 minute past the witching midnight hour, and just below the surface lay a submarine's conning tower, the Japanese I-58, a stealthy submarine with Hashimoto in command, waits quietly unseen. It's now July the 30th of 1945. A morning etched into the minds of those who will survive. 134 degrees, 22 minutes east, and 12 degrees, 2 minutes north. Torpedoes were unleashed. Silently they sought their mark. The first two wouldn't miss. The heavy cruiser U.S. ship, Indianapolis. The first one struck the starboard bow. The blast came ripping through. The second one exploded aft of turret number 2. Flame, gas, smoke belched from the hull. It shuddered with the blow, and screams of burning, dying men in fiery hell below. The captain, Charles B. McVeigh, must choose an option now. Pass orders to abandon ship, or stay afloat somehow. He knew that ships and men were lost, abandoned way too soon, when captains made a fatal error, and he was not immune. A Navy man dyed in the wool Annapolis degree, had walked the decks experienced a quarter century, so consequences would be grave no matter what they do. But he could only focus on the safety of his crew. But then he felt a rapid list. The bow began to dip. Decision made, he passed the word. All hands abandon ship. No naval regs or protocol can help the sailors now. Each must fight to stay alive and leave the ship somehow. She's rolling hard to starboard side. The bows dipped out of sight. Men slide or drop or jump into the murky sea at night. 1,196, both Navy and Marine. And those who'd come back out alive, 317. The men without a kapok vest, a fate they now regret, must swim to find a vest or raft or floating cargo net. But swimming's not so easy now with greasy oil afloat. The oil slick is inches deep, it's in their eyes and throat. They watch the fantail raising up, a moonlit monument, her last salute. Then silently she makes a slow descent. This crippled ship, one might have thought, would still be here at dawn. But minutes only totaled 12. Just 12 and she was gone. Survivors watch her disappear beneath a clouded sky, envision mates sealed inside, a gruesome way to die. There must have been a groaning sound. This steel was crushed and bent, and cries of men entombed below as farther down she went. The ocean floor is miles deep. It's cold and inky black. But pray the Lord on Judgment Day will bring these sailors back. That deafening blast and screams of men now in their watery graves is silent now, and all you hear is lapping of the waves. A sailor's gripped with horrid fear, can't hear a voice or moan. Did anybody else survive? Am I here all alone? But soon survivors start to find their shipmates on the sea, on rafts or floating cargo nets or clinging to debris. The question plaguing everyone, when ship was in distress, did anyone put Mayday out, the standard SOS? When not a man could answer that, they're cloaked in silent fear. We're all alone, our ship is gone, and no one knows we're here. Some men who all throughout their lives had never said a prayer were asking God to save them in this time of great despair. Some were injured, some were burned, and some were nearly gone. And many sailors breathed their last before the light of dawn. But men who made it through the night could feel their spirits raise as daylight came and morning sun unveiled its fiery blaze. When pitched atop an ocean swell, they scanned the open sea, and bobbing heads were everywhere in groups of 2 or 3. The chaplain swam from group to group. Sincerely he's concerned about all the men with broken bones, cut up and badly burned. They swam and formed up larger groups. Together they would stay, would make it that much easier when rescue came today. Then as the heated day wore on, they prayed they'll soon be found. But it's not rescue ships they see. The sharks have come around, like fishing from a charter boat and throwing out the chum. the dead and bleeding act as bait, and sharks begin to come. The men on rafts or cargo nets surely fared the best, 'cause sharks would hunt and tear apart those dangling from a vest. The wounded men who died in pain, released to sink at will, would be attacked by savage sharks like jackals on a kill. Throughout the day into the night you'd hear a sudden scream. A shipmate being drugged below was like an eerie dream. As night drug on, a head would droop, sailor fall asleep. He'd wake to find his shipmate gone, conscripted to the deep. The morning sun came out in force a blistering second day. Their strength was zapped in blinding light, no place to get away. The blazing sun, roving sharks, tantamount to cursed, was never near the albatross, his constant yearning thirst. All sailors from their boot camp days were schooled cut and dry. Don't drink the water from the sea or you will surely die. When still no sign of rescue came, the day was number 3. Their hope was gone, and several drank the water from the sea. As men dozed off, then woke again, their dreams were interspaced with sips of milk or lemonade that had a salty taste. A group of 39 Marines had sailed upon the ship. Their captain swam to comfort them, heroic leadership. He and the chaplain gave their all, themselves they would deprive. Exhaustion finally took its toll, and neither did survive. Some men who drank the salty brine in desperate, weakened state take off their vests and swim for shore as they hallucinate. When heat and sharks and constant thirst and loss of hope combined, the logic leaves and normal men slowly lose their mind. Heroic men of Indy's crew were dying by the score, not knowing if their service did a thing to end this war. The normal life expectancy, to use the Kapok vest, was just 2 days. Now twice that long would undergo the test. The men could barely keep their chin above the waterline. The soggy vest had been in use beyond its short design. A second day of August dawns. Lieutenant Wilbur Gwynn is cruising at 4,000 feet in his Ventura twin. A tiny speck, an oil slick, comes faintly into view. He circles low and witnesses what's left of Indy's crew. Scattered in an oblong shape, some 13 miles or more, are men still fighting for their lives on day number 4. He squawks a message back to base. Soon help is on the way. Planes and ships are racing in all throughout the day. The rescue efforts carry on throughout the day and night, and drifting men with little hope still find the strength to fight. Was it the Lord or folks back home that kept these men alive? Or a message deep within the brain that says, I will survive? 1196, both Navy and Marine. And those who'd come back out alive, 317. The Indy story isn't done. One fact we can't ignore, the secret voyage she had made just 7 days before, a cargo loaded on the ship, delivered by the crew. Exactly what it might have been, they never had a clue. These men had carried on their ship the first atomic bomb, offloaded it at Tinian, an island close to Guam. Then Colonel Tibbets and his plane he called Enola Gay would fly it to Hiroshima and drop it straight away. What if we hadn't dropped the bomb that fatal August day, when 80,000 human lives were vaporized away? Some folks have said to drop that bomb one had to be depraved, but they don't know. And facts are clear how many lives it saved. One night before the A-bomb set Hiroshima aglow, 100,000 lives were lost in raids on Tokyo. This loss of life would have been dwarfed by death across the land from bombing raids just prior to the Great Invasion planned. And that invasion would have robbed 1 million of their lives. 250,000 U.S. troops would never see their wives. Sleep well, you men of Indy's crew, both Navy and the Corps. You served with pride and did your part to end that awful war. And folks, I would like to introduce Signalman 3rd Class, Paul W. McGinnis, survivor of the USS Indianapolis, a World War II hero.
Thank you, Bob. One thing that I would like to mention is that we are often referred to as heroes, we survivors. We're not heroes, we're survivors. The real heroes are out there at the bottom of the sea.